Staying with the border, those communities continue to face challenges. The latest, rail operations are now suspended at bridges in Eagle Pass and El Paso.
So this is happening in order to redirect personnel to process migrants. We are joined by Representative Henry Cuellar to talk more about this widespread impact of decision. Good afternoon, Congressman Cuellar. So you had tweeted that the reasons for the rail operations suspended at Eagle Pass and El Paso, it's because of the overwhelming number of migrants. Can you elaborate?
Look, in the last 3 years, we've had 5.8 million encounters at the border. As you can see in the video right now, there's just too many people coming in. When you're getting 10 to 12,000 people a day, and as you know, they'll go to Eagle Pass, they'll go to Del Rio, and a lot of them end up in San Antonio. You know, all you have to do is ask Catholic Services. So what's happening is that the men and women in green need help processing this, folks. So they take the men and women in blue, which is legitimate trade and tourism, and they're taken away from those bridges to help the men and women in green. So now immigration's affecting legitimate trade and tourism, like we're seeing in Eagle Pass with the trains.
With that being said, what is that economic impact of the suspension on Texas and places like San Antonio?
You know, anytime you stop trains from coming in or trucks from coming in, that affects the supply chain. And that just basically means the local economy and Eagle Pass and Del Rio are going to be impacted. The Texas economy is going to be impacted. And as you know, a lot of those goods are coming in into the rest of the United States. So it has an economic impact that's local, state, and national. Every minute, there's more than $1.5 million of trade, total trade between the U.S. and Mexico. Last year, we had $863 billion of trade in 1 year. So this just means an economic impact and jobs that will be impacted because of migration. We got to do a better job at stopping people, detaining people, and unfortunately, if they have to be returned, detain people, because right now they're getting the message to come into the United States.
We're going to talk about detaining people in just a few moments, but you yourself have called for more federal resources at our border. Have you spoken to the White House? Are they aware of these mass problems? And if so, what has the White House's response been?
Well, you know, I'm ranking member in the appropriations for Homeland. We need to put more resources, but it's not only adding the more personnel, technology, but it's also making sure that we have the right policies. We have push factors, which are people that are pushed from their country to come here, but the pull factors involves the policies. And if we don't do what President Obama, Secretary Jay Johnson did back in, in the 2013, 14, and 15, and give people their due process, detain people, and then if they are not supposed to be here, you got to return them. You got to deport them, because look, the figures are very straightforward. 90% of the people that you're showing on your videos, 90% when they go in front of a judge are going to be rejected. So why are we allowing 100%? Well, we should be allowing only 10% instead of the numbers we're seeing. That is the repercussions that we need to have. It's resources, but it's having the right policies at the border.
Like you mentioned, there is that immigration backlog, but let's go now to Texas SB 4, a Texas act that in part would create state criminal offenses related to legal entry into Texas. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's a state issue, but I can tell you that it reminds me of what Arizona did in 2010. And in 2010, the Supreme Court took that law, and the Supreme Court said, hey, states are not supposed to be enforcing federal laws. So I think the state of Texas wants to test that again, because there's a new majority in the Supreme Court. All I have to say is I wish that the state would work with the federal government and working together instead of going solo. They're going solo because they don't agree with President Biden's actions. But look, the men and women in green, the men and women in blue are doing their best. And I think there are ways that we can work together instead of going solo. But I think SB 4 sometime in the future will be tested in the Supreme Court, like Arizona did in 2010. And the Supreme Court said states are not supposed to be enforcing immigration law.
Congressman, before we let you go, I just have one question. So you say the state is acting solo, but you're also calling for federal resources. So do you see the issue here? Do you think that there's a misalignment?
Oh, without a doubt. Let me give you another example. You know, when the state troopers do their truck inspections and they delay trucks, which is another reason why trade is impacted. You know, the governor's office say, "Oh, we're trying to do this because we're trying to stop drugs and people from coming into the United States." There's only one little problem. The problem is that the state of Texas DPS can only check leaks, oil leaks, windshield wipers, and brakes. They don't even have the power to open up the 18-wheeler. So therefore, they've caught zero drugs or immigrants, but they delay impact. So that is one way where they're working solo. Imagine if DPS could work with the men and women in blue at our bridges working together. I think we could do a lot more. And I'm just giving you some examples where I wish that the state and the federal government will work together to stop the drugs and migration.
Another team that's working hard, nonstop, always are those nonprofits along the border. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Keep up to date with all of San Antonio's top news, weather, and so much more by clicking the like and subscribe buttons below. And once again, thanks for watching KSAT.